A bill touted as making Tennessee's streets safer is being called into question.
And some of those raising the questions are the ones who've committed crimes. WRG investigator Jessica.
So you want to know where to invest $1,000 right? Holloway was just like physical real estate. In fact, it's one of the easiest ways for regular Americans.
With YouTube TV.
To be honest, I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus. I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
And good afternoon. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and it is now 12:07, 7 minutes past the hour of 12 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you on a Tuesday. And I tell you what, starting the day off at 70 degrees, you're in tune to Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. And it's good to be back on again today. And hey, I tell you what, we've got a great show lined up for you today. Hot topics of discussion, news that you could use, local, national, international. Special guests coming up in just about, I guess, a couple of minutes here. And we'll be talking about the new thing that's going through the House of Representatives right now. I too long ago talked to Representative Johnny Shaw out of Bolivar. He owns a radio station up there, WOJG 94.70, and State Representative Johnny Shaw. And so we're talking about this new bill that's coming out. They're about to vote on here.
Yes, sir. And just to your point, we're going to break that down just a minute. It's got a story and all that stuff, man. So, but like you said,
concerning crime, Josh, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and the story's going to break it all down to your point there. But yeah, and the special guest we got is going to break it down with it as well. And hopefully you all also to join in the conversation. I see a lot of y'all starting to jump in already. Good afternoon, everybody that's already in the comments. I know a lot of y'all saying you're glad to see us, so we definitely appreciate that as well. Also, real quick, if you want to, you can go ahead. As I always remind you guys, if you're watching right now, go ahead and give us a like, give us a share. Right now, all of that is very important to what we do here on Talkback Live Network. Hit the like button. Everybody's watching right now, go ahead and hit the like button for me, and also go ahead and hit that share button so everybody can get joined in on the conversations that you also enjoy. And we definitely appreciate it, man. But yeah, it's definitely glad to be back on with y'all. Good afternoon, Frankie. I see you. Good afternoon, Greg. Says good afternoon, everybody. Leon, good afternoon to you, bro. Jet, what's going on, man? He says, where in the world is GKP?
Who cares? Who cares? Okay.
He's like, he needs to be here. So he's I don't know if he's mad at him right now or not, man. But I'm sure he's gonna jump in just as well as everybody else is just starting to come into the stream as well. So continue to file on in. I know some people are doing that now. As a matter of fact, Bob. So we got the guest coming in now.
Yes, indeed. We'll get him on the phone. Apostle Ricky Floyd of the Pursuit of God Transformation Center. And we'll have him on in just a second. And Josh, anything else we need to do before we get started? Let's get it on. Let's get it on. And in the headlines today, we've got there's a lot of talk about crime in the city of Memphis. No, not that's only Memphis, but primarily Memphis in the state of Tennessee, because it is out of control. People are getting killed every single day, 2 and 3 people a day, and it is just too much. People are saying they can't take it anymore. So we've got something that we're going to discuss with you today about crime and what the state of Tennessee is planning to do about it. Well, let's talk about it. Josh, we have a special guest on the phone with us today, and we're going to be talking also about with him the new law that they're talking about in the House of Representative. And like I said, we talked. Not too long ago, a few minutes ago, communicated with Representative Shaw out of Bolivar and state representative, and so they're voting on some things about a new law concerning crime, and a lot of people are loving it. Josh, what are they talking about?
Yes, sir. And before we get to, I guess I know he's on the line right now.
Let me introduce our guest. He is the pastor apostle of the Pursuit of God Transformation Center Church in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's been a long time since we've communicated on our show with him, and we're glad to have him on today. And it is none other than Apostle Ricky Floyd. Apostle Floyd, welcome to the show today.
Glad to be in the service one more time. Good to hear you guys' voice again, man.
Yes, sir.
One more time. Thank you, Apostle, for joining us. It is an honor to have you on our show.
An honor and privilege to be here with you.
All right, Josh, the new law that they're considering in the House of Representatives, and
yes, sir. So to that
we've got a clip.
Yeah, to that point. So got a story, and then we're gonna let the story play, then we're gonna get into the conversation here. But basically, it's ex-offenders. This is what the story says. Offenders are against this bill that is talking about increasing sentencing, and not only that, eliminating parole altogether. So,
well, wouldn't you know it? The offenders would be offended.
No doubt. But here's the story, and we'll be right back. Y'all take a listen.
Take a listen to this.
As making Tennessee's streets safer is being called into question.
And some of those raising the questions are the ones who've committed crimes. WRG investigator Jessica Gertler explains why.
A lot has changed since Lindsay Holloway was booked into prison in 2010.
Originally, I was facing 10 years, 6 to 10 years in federal prison
for possession and selling of stolen weapons. Holloway developed a drug habit when she was a teenager, landing her in and out of the legal system.
I did, 2 months in a federal holding facility, and then I was released to go get treatment. And so I went to a 6-month reentry program.
A religious program that offered mental and drug treatment. She says she went with the understanding if she successfully completed it, she'd have a better chance at avoiding time behind bars. It worked.
If I wouldn't have been given that chance, I probably would have just got out of prison about 2 years ago.
Instead, Holloway and her husband, who completed a trade program while in prison for arson, started This Is Living Ministries, a reentry program based in East Tennessee.
If other people are given that chance, people want to do good. And I just wish they wouldn't take those opportunities away.
I'm here to present House Bill 2656 on behalf of Speaker Sexton. It's also known as Truth in Sentencing.
The Truth in Sentencing bill is making its way through the Tennessee state capitol. It eliminates the possibility of parole, requiring 100% time served for these crimes, including homicide, carjacking, some cases of drug dealing, aggravated burglary, and aggravated assault. So why do you oppose this bill?
I just don't think a umbrella covering for everyone with those charges would be right.
Right now, if inmates participate in prison programs like job training, classes, and rehabilitation, it can help them get an early release. Holloway thinks if you remove those incentives, inmates won't sign up for the programs.
I think the incentives is what pulls the majority of the people into it.
But supporters believe this bill is critical.
Drew is a kind, gentle, and caring person who was loved by his family and friends.
Andy Rayner spoke in front of the General Assembly last month, saying if the law had been in effect, his son Drew would still be alive. Drew was just 22 years old, a senior at Rhodes College. On October 3rd, Memphis police say Rainus Holmes and several men broke into Drew's home near campus.
They then held Drew and his girlfriend at gunpoint. They threatened to rape and kill her in front of him, and then to kill him. Drew, at some point, tried to disarm the gunman, and during the struggle, he was shot in the chest and his girlfriend was shot in the hand.
WREG investigators reported Holmes was released from jail just a few months before Drew's murder. He was on probation for aggravated burglary. That was on top of a lengthy record.
This person chose not to take advantage of the many opportunities given to him to reform his life. And in my opinion, he should have been in prison.
That's just one incident of hundreds of the last several years.
State Representative John Gillespie from Memphis is a co-sponsor of the bill. He says right now, violent offenders are getting out almost immediately because of parole, good behavior, and time served awaiting trial. He says this bill will provide transparency.
They get sentenced to 10 years, they're going to jail for 10 years.
And many local government leaders agree.
Our state law is too weak when it comes to sentencing violent criminals.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland, Shelby County District Attorney Amy Wyrick, and Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis have all shown support, even adding it to the most recent crime-fighting plan. But Holloway thinks it will backfire. She says the more inmates who don't enter rehabilitation programs will never address the problems that led them into crime in the first place, not giving them hope when they get out.
Yes, I agree. We all need to do the punishment for a crime, but there also needs to be a form of redemption.
If you want to read more about the crime plan and why they put truth in sentencing in it, just go to our website and click on this story. We've also added a list of charges included in this bill. Jessica Gertler, WREG News Channel 3.
Giving us all something to think about. Now, in the meantime, the Tennessee Department of Corrections says if this bill passes, it could cost taxpayers about $95 million a year. We'll let you.
$95 million a year. So what? I mean, we pay a lot of money for other things anyway.
That hurt me.
A lot of other things you pay a lot more than that. So to keep these criminals behind bars that just want to just shoot people and kill people, carjack people, and just crazy on the rampage around town, especially Memphis, and said, hey, the penalties are not stiff enough, so we can just do whatever we want and be good for a few months, and they're going to let me back out and get out and do something else worse. So, hey, let's turn now to our special guest. And again, he is Apostle Ricky Floyd from the Pursuit of God Transformation Center Church. Apostle Floyd, again, sir, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Man, glad to yield your request to be here to hopefully add some insight and wisdom or new ways of thinking to your topic today.
All right.
Just to jump in. So what do you think about that just off the bat? Because I don't know, to me, and maybe some people might disagree with what I think. I don't know if I should be conflicted about hearing that or not.
Conflicted in what way?
Well, I mean, just conflicted, period. Like, because on the one hand, I get it. You need more incentives, right? For people, or deterrence for people for committing crimes, especially when you look at Memphis and it seems like nothing is keeping it from going, up like it has been. Right. But on the other hand, you got the thought of, giving people second chances, seemingly getting cut completely out altogether. So, what
do you think about the people that also, Apostle Floyd, where you giving them second chance, but then they take advantage of the second chance, like this other guy that got out, and then he went out and then, shooting the guy up at Rhodes College, killing him, I think, shot him in the chest and shot his girlfriend at the same time. So these people, do they learn from these things, Apostle Floyd? Yes.
I can really feel the sentiments of Josh and I think it's probably, especially for us as African-American men, that there is not a lot of trust for us in the fairness of the legal system. And so that part of me questions the possibility of a person not having parole and giving a person an opportunity to be rehabilitated. But I just want to give you one number. You talked about it a little bit, Apostle Midget.
Yes, sir.
When you said that a lot of these guys are going back. Not a lot. Here's the sad thing. The majority are.
Yeah, wow.
almost 80%, the people who go to prison end up going back again. That's almost 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Now, I've said this before. People make decisions based off of two things. When it boils down to it, every decision you make off of two things, either love or fear. I want you to think about that. Every decision you make, you either go to your job because you're scared you're going to lose something, or you love something that you want to keep. You go to church, you serve God, you stay married, you do the speed limit either, or you don't do the speed limit either because you love or you fear. Here's the thing with our society now, man, ain't nobody scared of nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody scared of nothing. And most people don't know love. So people are just living reckless lives. We got to keep in mind, the law was not made for the criminal. The law was made to protect the law-abiding citizen. And here's what I'm afraid of, guys. I'm afraid that we have become so concerned about the rights of the people that are committing crime that we begin to abuse, abandon, confuse, and make the innocent person a prisoner in their own home.
Wow. Say that again, Apostle. That's powerful. That is, yeah.
Yeah, we made it. Now we're in prison, but we listen, Bob, we're in prison and we got to pay a mortgage to stay in prison.
Yeah, and that's something. Stay for free on our dollars.
They get free dental care, eye care, health care, a skill if they take advantage of it. And now we see they got cell phones.
Yeah.
So the criminal has more rights now than the law-abiding citizen. And so desperate times call for desperate measures. The definition of insanity, do the same thing over and over again and expect something. We have got crime, murder, drug addiction. So if we got drug addiction, we got drug sales at an all-time high. We're seeing 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds being killed because we've got people that are irresponsible with guns who in most cases already have criminal charges and are not even supposed to have guns. When are we going to begin to protect, preserve the law-abiding citizens?
Yeah.
Or is that a day of the past?
That's a very good question and a good point, Apostle Floyd. We'll say good afternoon to all of you that are coming in, and also to our listener out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, Dwight Rogers. Thanks for chiming in and listening. Greg says, I don't think it's a lack of fear. He said, I think it's a lack of respect.
Well, some people, I'll go back to what I said. Who said that, Greg?
Yes, sir.
Greg, you either respected your mama because you love your mama, or you respect your mama because in my days, you didn't want that extension cord.
Among other things.
It goes back to I respect my mama because I love my mama. I respect my mama because she might beat the hell out of me. So it goes back to what I say, every decision. Now, I'm not just a preacher who's talking, who's quoting out some statistics. Man, I've lived these statistics.
Yes, sir.
I remember when we first started our ministry, again, we were having church at our house. Children were playing basketball after church at my house. A gang came through, jumped on my son, gave him 28 stitches in his eye.
Goodness. Oh, man.
And when we went to court, I asked the judge, Your Honor, young guy, I didn't want to see another black guy, young guy go to jail. Your Honor, can you make his sentence that he has to come to my church every Sunday? The judge read off to me his criminal resume, and I wanted to change my mind, but I felt like the Lord told me to do it. And the young man, when he came to church the first Sunday, he had a gun with him because he was afraid we was tricking him into my house and gonna beat him up. The gang members had given him a gun. Now, I'm glad I didn't have land on hand service that Sunday because we all probably would have ended up being shot in it. But that same young man that I took on vacations with me, took on trips with me, helped him get jobs, his brothers, sisters, cousins got saved under our ministry, came back some years later and broke in my house while I was at church preaching.
Man.
Some years ago, I got carjacked.
Yeah.
The man that I got carjacked with, I asked the district attorney, please don't press charges on him. Give me an opportunity to work with him. I was working with Manhood University at the time, got the man a job at the church. Now, needless that I know that this man is a habitual criminal. He's got 20 years of criminal activity. I got the man a job at a church. He went to the church, acted a fool, and is back involved in criminal activity.
Wow.
I got shot. When they find out the guy's record, this guy is a 15-year habitual criminal. And somebody said, oh, Floyd ain't gonna press charges. He gonna forgive him. Not this time.
No, that's
no,
right.
lock him up.
Yeah.
Lock him up. Because what if he's been doing criminal activities for 15 years, which is almost half of his life. He's been in and out of jail. Maybe he's not been staying in jail long
enough.
Certainly, we know getting out has not worked well for him. Because this man, watch this, shot my truck 9 times. And that was very easily a night that I could have had my grandmother in the truck with me.
Yes, sir.
Man.
And so do I believe he needs to serve the time? Every day. Every day. Because his habits, his lifestyle, his nature has proven probation ain't working.
Yeah. Apostle Floyd, as our special guest, let me ask you this, or make this comment. Do you think that having such strict policies as this, keeping them in jail for the full sentence, if they go to jail for 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, they've got to serve the full sentence. Now, if we put that into effect, do you think the people outside, before committing the crime, would think twice before doing it?
Man, we've seen it in movies and we've heard people say it. I'll be out in 3 years.
Yeah.
And some of them done got out in less than 3 years because they get some time served.
Right.
Man, how does that make a mother feel?
Or good behavior, they
who
call
will
it.
never be able to see her son again.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to the neighborhood where her son was killed and see the person who killed her son not only still alive, but man, intimidating them and still walking in criminal activity. What does that do? What does that do? Now, I believe if we got to revamp the whole system, just giving them longer time ain't enough. We've got to have, and here's another problem that we see. A lot of people don't realize that when people, especially drug addiction, because the number one reason that people are going back into jail is because of drug addiction, people don't realize, and I don't know why we're not talking about this, Bob and Josh, that we talk about the murder rate, but we're not talking about the overdose rate, which is 150 times more people dying from drug addiction than they are being murdered. I don't know why we don't talk about that in the media.
Wow.
And one of the people that we're seeing dying is, you take a guy who was on heroin, who was on, what's the other thing? What they call it?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. You take a guy who was on fentanyl. Well, when he was out doing drugs every day, he had built up where he could take a certain amount. Well, when this guy gets out of jail, you've probably seen guy got out of jail and they died within 30 days of getting out of jail. What happens is this guy has been in jail, his system has gotten it clean, and then he comes out trying to take the same amount of dose that he took before he went in. And here we have somebody who is overdosed. Wow. Man, we can't just have the people doing longer time. We've got to have better systems, skills, mental. We got to address the mental issues. We've got to address the lack of skill. We got to address the educational issues. Because if we're just sending the guy in there instead of 3 years and 10 years, man, he's just gonna learn more criminal activity, more perversion. I don't think it's an accident that they sent our African American boys to prison doing their sexual prime. The ages of 16 and 30, you putting a man in prison doing his sexual prime and with a group of perverts. I don't think that's an accident. We've got to stop the raping that's going on in prison. We've got to stop the drugs that's going on in prison. Because what good is sending him to prison if we still gonna let him do drugs? We still gonna let him do perverted sexual acts. We're still not gonna charge him accountable to get any type of education, accountability, or give him an opportunity to have a relationship with some kind of God in prison. What good is it giving him an extra 10 years? So I guess I'm sounding double-minded because I'm back to what Josh is now. Just giving them longer time is not enough. You got to get them longer time with tougher demands and restrictions while they're in there.
And see, that you hit right on what I was a little worried about, is because I get where this law is coming from, because that's where on the one hand I get it, especially when you talk about situations like yourself went through. And I almost think with some people on the outside, or maybe some people that have even been through those situations that are trying to help others, there might be an overcorrection on trying to help criminals, maybe too much. You know what I'm saying? If there's a way to say that, by not serving time, whatever the case is. But while they're in there, I do think, like you said, hopefully this isn't just lock them Negroes away and throw away the key, and we don't care what happens to them. That's what I'm a little bit worried about, because the folks in government in Tennessee have proven, at least to me, in a lot of cases, that they don't really care about us.
Well, I think
you know what I'm saying. I think it's been just real quick.
I think,
and just real quick.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I'm not gonna go too long, but
no, it's all right.
When I see some of the people in that news story, it's mostly older white men. All I hear is
and
lock
that
them
was
Negroes
to
up.
me.
Yeah, lock them Negroes
that was
up.
scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was a scary visual to me, John.
Yeah, it was.
They just look like some angry white folks that don't want us around their daughters and sons.
Right, it was to me too. But we've got to understand, we can't forget these people, even though they're black men, they're going to prison, but they're still committing the crime. I mean, we have black people in black neighborhoods right now, that say, hey, enough is enough. People are suffering and they're afraid.
That's true.
They're walking in fear, but we're concerned too much. They feel that we're too much concerned about the person that's going to jail, that's putting them in fear every single day, because some people are going to bed at night wondering, am I going to hear somebody climbing through my window and knocking my door in? That's not the way people should live.
Or even worse, like in some tragic situations, just getting shot while asleep.
Asleep,
those frightening.
And people should not have to live that way. In certain areas, and even in the good areas of the city, people concerned, hey, it could happen anywhere. And so why are we so concerned about these Negroes, white men, white women, black women that are going to prison, and they're committing these crimes? Some people said, you do the crime, you should do the time. Yes, I understand there are a lot of black men, and there's a lot of white dudes that are saying this, but we've got to face reality and wake up and smell the coffee, or do something or like you said, introduce programs in these prisons while they're there that they can be rehabilitated, but yet be rehabilitated in prison rather than letting them get out and be rehabilitated. You know, this people are, you know, they're saying we're tired.
Oh yeah.
We're sick and tired of this stuff that's going on. And if I can, Apostle, let me read some of the comment that the Jet says. That's not what.
Yeah, I got you.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
He said that's not shocking. He said prison rarely changes. This is from Jet, by the way. He said prison rarely changes whatever conditions that produced the criminal, but what it will usually do is make it all the more hard to rehabilitate yourself. So 80% makes sense to me. So what we were saying there. Greg says there seems to be a huge overreach on protecting criminals. And I'm just reading two more before we go back to Apostle here. Greg also says nobody talks about drug addiction because it's a largely self-afflicted issue. And the last couple here, Jet says, no, it's not double-minded. It's all part of the solution. It's just that with the system currently what it is, they may as well keep them because you're just reintroducing tyrants, which is intentional. So they're not racist, but actually justified by saying lock them up. And Greg says, having worked in the penal system, he's worked in the penal system, it's too soft on most of them. It's corrective to a few, but for the most part, there's no real detriment.
The mayor, our city mayor, says himself, they're too soft. He's tired of it. The district attorney, Amy Warwick, which, you know, she's for the program. She's, you know, all for it.
I'm sure she is.
The police chief, the new police chief, she's all for it. And it seems like to me when they stood up and I saw them before the cameras, it's like, man, on their faces, there was big smiles and there was like, man, what a sign of relief if this comes. That's what I saw on their faces. What a sign of relief. Or else it seems like we've just been spinning in place, digging a hole, and nobody to pull us out. And so now they feel in a sense that this is a bill that if it passed, it will be able to stop people from spinning wheels and pull them out, you know, pull them out of the hole. Apostle Floyd, what do you think?
A couple of things I want. I remember when I would pull that rod out at my house, and little Ricky was my youngest child. And if one of the older children got a whooping, little Ricky would walk up to me and said, "I love you, Dad." No, what was he doing? He had saw the wrath experience on the other children.
Absolutely.
And he was letting me know I'm a law-abiding citizen. The Bible said, if you love me, you'll obey me. So you ain't going to have no problem after me. He didn't have to get the whooping because he saw the pain that the whooping was causing us. Now, I want to go to something else that I've been thinking about for a long time and probably didn't want to talk about public in it. And it came back to my mind last week. A couple of things. When we talk about slavery, and so even Bobby, when you were talking about all of the people who were excited about these new laws, and Josh pointed out the people, 95% of those people were older white people. When we think about slavery, we think about white people. But here's the thing that I have. Who caught them slaves? How would a British white man go off in the jungle of Africa and come out with 12 million natives? You know how he caught them? Black Africans were fighting Black Africans. And when they won the war, they took the captives and gave them over to the slave masters. Can I tell you that in 2022, prison, if you've seen the movie The 13th Amendment, or you know about the 13th Amendment, it says that slavery is illegal in America except for the prison system, which means that slavery is still legal in America. Now, I want to ask you the same question. What's causing most Black people to be in prison? A crime that they have committed against another Black person. And we got a few, and we call them the masters, Master Strickland, Master Amy Wyrick, and we mad at Master them, but in reality, us fighting each other has put us in prison, in graves, in poverty, in addiction, in prostitution, and mental insanity. And so, you know, somebody called me, or somebody inboxed me the other day because they're talking about the laws that the governor has passed about guns and how it will increase the likelihood of more people going to jail. Now since they've sent that to me, I think we've had 3 children killed by guns. And they want me to jump on the governor. I said, why don't we jump on Black folks for shooting Black folks? If the governor passes the bill or doesn't pass the bill, is they're going to stop us from killing each other?
Wow.
And so there has to become a responsibility and an accountability that we've got to have for ourselves. We can't expect other folks to love, be more accountable, more loyal, more faithful, and protect us more than we will protect ourselves. And I know I got off track a little bit, but I just had to say that. I'm interested to hear the comments on after that statement.
Hey, I already know that's gonna hit some nerves, but I think that's a real thing, and you know that's why it's such a important conversation, at least to me, because it's always you have to keep that balance. And I'm curious for you, Apostle, you know, working in the community as long as you have around Memphis and the area that you have been and other places, is it hard to keep that balance? You know, because you on the one hand you got, you know, the anger of your own community's lack of accountability.
Let me tell you, man. And my wife has to. This is what my wife told me, because I can make one post, Josh, and on the same post, white people will call me a race baiter and a militant hate monger. The same post, Black folks will call me Uncle Tom and a sellout.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not different, not the same day. I'm talking about the same post.
Same post, yeah.
And here's what my wife told me. She said, and it gave me a peace. She said, baby, you are a bridge. God sent you to this region to be a bridge. And she said, what good? And we live a half a mile from the Mississippi Bridge. She said, what good is a bridge that don't touch both sides?
Wow.
Man.
And so for me, man, I'm on the sides of righteousness and progression of our people and of the city, but I understand you got to work with other people to help our people. And I believe, I know this is going to sound arrogant, I believe I'm 5 to 10 years ahead of most people thinking, so I don't expect everybody to understand me. But here's one thing that cannot be denied, and that is the results.
Yes.
Bob, I know y'all are praying, man, and I need y'all to pray for me. And so the lady that wanted me to slap the governor, what she didn't know is I'm getting ready to have a meeting in Nashville on April the 7th. I need y'all to pray with me.
Yes, sir.
And that is to bring $25 million over a 3-year period of time to Frazier and Raleigh for guess what, Bob? To help brothers get $25 an hour jobs.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Now, don't you think that will have an impact on a brother who was making $10 an hour or hustling and making $1,000 a week, then having to go spend $2,000 in the court next week? If he could get a legitimate job making $25 an hour with benefits, don't you think that would have an impact on crime going down?
That'd make a big impact. Yes, absolutely.
Don't you think some more young brothers would consider getting married if they was making $25 an hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you think some young brothers would buy homes and become taxpaying because the bulk of the tax money that we get is from home? Don't you think that they'll buy homes instead of living in apartments and living with their mama? If it was making $25 an hour.
And instead of going out looking for trouble or robbing or killing or stealing or carjacking,
listen, hey man, I'm going with y'all tonight. I ain't gonna lose my good job.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's a real thing. You know,
I ain't gonna lose my good job. I'll holler at y'all, man. I'm going to the house.
That's it.
Real talk. And I like you said, I think most people don't want to do those things. You know?
Yeah.
Now, and it's funny you say that. That kind of goes to these next couple comments that came in. Jed says, if you boil beans and then make a law against beans doing whatever beans do, then it's structural. And then he puts down, don't get mad at crabs in a barrel. Get mad at whoever keeps putting crabs in barrels and making money off building barrels and catching crabs.
My goodness.
Oh,
That's
man.
good. That's good, Josh. That's good. Well, and I say something. I say something. If we smart enough to know that's what the system is doing, when we gonna get smart enough to not fall into the trap that the system is doing? If we know, if you done seen 3 rats go over there and eat that cheese and get their neck snapped, why you gonna be mad at the cheese? Why you gonna be mad at the trap?
Oh man.
No. You should have learned that is a neck snapping, life taking experience. Don't be mad at the cheese. Don't be mad at the trap. Don't be mad at the one that set the trap. Get enough sense to say, I ain't finna do that. They ain't finna get me with that.
That's a really good one too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get caught in that trap
repeatedly. And even though you see everybody else that tried to do it, got the next one.
My uncle went to jail for this. My daddy went to jail for this. My granddaddy went to jail for this. My cousin went to jail for this. My brother went to jail for this. But I'm finna go do what all them did.
Somewhere we ought to learn.
I said it once before. The definition of insanity is do the same thing over and over and expect something different. We've got to begin to hold each other accountable and challenge each other. Hey, man, we got to do something different.
Okay.
We got to do something different.
Whose fault is it that there are a lot of black men in jail or black people in jail for committing crime on black people? Whose fault is that? Do we blame the white man? Do we blame the Stricklands of the world? Do we blame who?
Everybody's fault. It's first of all, I'm gonna say it first of all. It's the church's fault. It's the educational institution's fault. Here's what I had a high-ranking educator tell me one time. Now I want y'all to. I posted a video about 4 days ago. Well, the Rockefellers were the biggest contributors to the education system in America. And this is what the Rockefellers' quote was. We cannot have the education system producing thinkers. We want an education system that produces workers. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. We can't afford. He spent billions of dollars in the education system, which was designed to produce workers, not thinkers. We don't need thinkers to drive forklifts in Memphis. Memphis is the distribution capital of the United States. We don't need thinkers.
Right.
We need packers. We need forklift drivers. We need folks throwing stuff on the back of trucks and throwing stuff on the back of planes.
Yeah.
If we get a group of thinkers and educated, man, they said when a person goes to jail, 80 people get paid.
Wow.
Do we really want rehabilitation? If we are one of those 80 people?
Nope. Nah, they need you to at least, have the chance of going back.
Somebody said,
Yeah, listen, I want to devise a system that keeps little Ricky as a Packer. I don't want little Ricky to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The system is not designed for my son to be a lawyer. The system is designed for my son to be a Packer. The school system. Matter of fact, African American boys, the school system was never made for African American boys. It was made for white girls. And that's why 80% of the people that are labeled special education in Memphis are African American boys, because the school was never designed to educate them. They were supposed to be in the field picking cotton.
Okay.
What was that number? You said $95 million is going to cost. Now watch this. For an honor roll student, the school systems get $8,000 to $10,000.
Yep.
For a special education child, the school system gets up to $18,000.
Wow.
For juvenile, to put them in juvenile, they get $40,000.
Wow.
So it's more profitable for your children to be a criminal than it is for them to be an honor roll student. Because now when they're an honor roll student, they're going to be competing with my child for a job too.
Right. Absolutely.
But if they're special needs or they're in prison, they're going to be a client to my son. And so, man, the whole system is jacked up. And as a preacher, I'll say boldly, we need Jesus.
Amen.
There it is.
Amen to that.
There's only so much system working you can do without some type of higher power jumping in there. You know what I'm saying?
And somebody said here, Apostle Floyd, don't go to the Oscars either. So,
hey, I told my wife when she saw that. My wife told me when she saw that, she said, "Baby, please, I'll be all right. Don't go up there and hit nobody. If they say something, just please, because listen, 15 years ago, I was Will Smith. 10 years ago, I was Chris Rock. Now I'm Denzel Washington. So don't do that. Don't do that.
I like it. That's perfect. Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hey, you know what? And real quick, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know everybody's got an opinion they're throwing out there, or you just like,
man, it's a whole lot of thoughts, because you listen to different people's opinions and it shape y'all. One girl said something, man, that was crazy, but I was like, ooh. She said, what you saw was a Jezebel and Ahab experience.
Oh Lord,
I know Bob was going to trip on that. Because here's what, and some people even said at first, Will Smith smirked at the joke.
Yeah.
And then he saw his wife, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of women gonna get mad at me, but there's definitely some Jezebel tendencies on Jada Pinkett.
Yes, man. You know what?
And then here's another perspective for me. Chris Rock didn't make no jokes about the lesbian Wanda Sykes on there. He didn't make no jokes about her. He didn't body shame the white woman. But the married black lady,
wow,
he degraded her. And watch this, Josh. If your wife had cancer, and a guy publicly humiliated your wife about her disease, cancer. Recorded on national TV that will never disappear. Man, I can't say what I would do.
Man, that's what I'm saying. And
it's easy for everybody. Hindsight twice that he should have did this and he should have did that. Man, I can't say what I could do. I do know about 15 years ago, I would have did. I got a new terminology called I would have Will Smithed him. Don't make me Will Smith.
You're gonna get jiggy with it for real.
On national TV.
Hey, actually, hey, Josh, I said it would have been the pursuit of slapping. Yeah.
Look out now, you may start something there.
Pursuit of slapping.
Pursuit of slapping.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And Jet brings up a point too. Not to be on that too long, but Jet says this was the first Oscars completely produced by a black person as well. The production company.
Man, Mitch, my wife started it up last night. We were watching it, and man, to go from no blacks to man, it was almost like Living Color. They had so many black people on. Man.
Some folks said it was thought they were watching the BET Awards,
Right, exactly.
And I was cool, I don't even watch. Look, I don't even watch award shows like that. But after I heard about what happened, and looking back at it, I'm like, man, that's a lot of us on here.
And the first time it happens, then we act the fool.
Yeah. They ain't letting you and Bobby on that next year. Hey, they going back to the old ship of Zion.
Old ship of Zion.
Let it ride.
They're gonna have Steve Martin host it.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Our special guest, Apostle Ricky Floyd, Pursuit of God Transformation Center Church, and we've been talking about. For the past few minutes, we've been talking about the situation of crime, and a bill is going through the House, the State House now. They're trying to see if they can. Hopefully, they'll pass it. That no parole. If a person goes to jail, but they get convicted and they go to jail for 10 years. They're gonna stay all 10 years, no parole, no good guy in jail. If you go in for 10, you do something, you go in for 10 years, you're gonna be serving all 10 years, 20 years, all 20 years, 7 years, all 7 years. Whatever you get, that's what you're going to have to serve. Is that proper? Is it fair? Well, some people will say, is it fair?
If passed, I think.
Go ahead, Apostle.
If that law is passed, I think we as citizens have a responsibility to hold the politician and the prison responsible for rehabbing the people, not just housing the people and getting a check.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We've got to hold everybody accountable. So they need to show us some numbers that when this person gets out in 10 years, that they got an education, they got a skill, they got budgeting, coaching while they've been in, so they can come out and be a contributor to society.
But Apostle Floyd, some people are asking the question now. Okay. They committed the crime. They had everything they needed in society. They committed the crime. This guy shot my nephew. This guy shot my uncle. This guy killed my mom. And he goes to jail. We're concerned about them getting an education. They chose to go to jail. It's not fair to be overly concerned about what they get in jail and all of this other kind of stuff and making sure they get an education. So, but what about those people? Are they thinking right when they say that? Or should they be thinking about when they get out, they're ready to go into society with a different mindset or something. What do you think?
Well, one thing you said, Bob, that I respectfully disagree with you on when you said they had everything that they need when they were out in society. The numbers state that most of these guys girls that end up in prison have not finished high school. They did not have healthy homes that they came in. They grew up in poverty.
I guess let me phrase that another way, Apostle Floyd. Yeah. They had every opportunity to become.
Yeah, they have opportunities, but they had more opportunities or easier opportunities to get caught up in that criminal activity lifestyle than they did to go to college, to get a job at Federal Express.
Okay, so let me go to jail so I can get everything I need.
Well,
let me. I think wow, man. Okay, let me commit a crime so I can go to
the army for that. Hey, go to the army for that.
Jailhouse
He ain't
University.
trying to make it like his army now, like his Air Force.
Be all you can be. Yeah.
I mean, just what he said. Be all you can be. Is that what we're trying to make these people in jail?
But you know what though? I'm gonna just throw this out there. I don't know if this.
Okay.
This is just my thought, real quick. I think at the end of the day, and that's what I'm a little worried about. That some of the mindset, some of the white folks making this law, is more based on the revenge than actual trying to stop anything. Because at the end of the day, let's say you just throw them in there, keep them in a hole where they ain't got no toilet or nothing, pooping on the walls, and then they'll say, then after 20 years, they say, okay, you can go. So what's that going to do?
Okay,
but no. Let's finish what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So you punish them to death. Their mind's crazy. Now you're throwing them back in the world. What are you doing?
Okay,
I still didn't finish. I'm at the same point that I was.
Go ahead, my man. He's smart. He's smart, son.
What you're doing is throwing out a crazy, deprived person back in society. And what they're going to do? Not going to be productive. They end up making it, possibly worse than they were when they went in. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you're not making it any better.
Who wants to make it better for this joker to go to jail? Wait, Who wants to make it better for this joker when I'm in my driveway to drive by and I'm minding my own business, he takes a shot at me? Who wants to make it better, black on black or whatever, a white man against the black man, whatever the case, the black man pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to make it better for this guy to go to prison and then, to be concerned about what he did when some people said that guy shot my mama down at the store when she was minding her own business? Who wants to?
Everybody should, Bob. Yeah. Because watch this. He shot your mama, but me and Josh going to be in agreement on this one. He shot your mama, but when he get out of prison, he can shoot your daughter, man.
Okay, but here's the point, though. Here's the point. Should we look at this on the front end, or should we look too much? Are we looking too much on the back end of it? My point is
100% right.
My point is, if you make it hard enough for them to know what it's like in jail before they go, they're gonna think twice before committing those things and do what they try to do what they can do and take advantage of what, especially like things that you're offering, Apostle Floyd, at your church for young men to get started in life. They'll start searching for those kind of things rather than thinking about, it's so easy for me to go to jail. I can do anything I want to do and go to jail and get everything I need. All my needs are met in jail and get educated and all that. If they think about the way it is in prison and it's so awful and terrible to even go there, they're going to think twice before committing the crime. That's my point. So we need to think about it. Are we thinking too much on one end or the other and concerned about what these people are going to do?
That's a good point.
Let me ask one question real quick, Josh, because here's one thing that I don't think we've talked about. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about slavery and Will Smith and all that stuff. But let me ask you this question. And here's the purpose of the law. We hadn't talked about it.
Okay.
Do we think that's going to make crime go down? Yes or no?
Well, you know,
I don't
beauty
know.
is in the eye of the beholder.
I don't even know. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means right now.
I mean, some people think some things are beautiful when it's ugly. Another person may think that's the most ugliest thing I've ever seen. So, I mean, you know.
But Bob, listen to what you just said now. You said if we show them we busting folks in the head, they ain't going to go to jail. So that means, that according to your previous answer, that means you feel like if we do this, not as many people are going to commit crime because they know they're going to have to do the real time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, what you think? Is it going to make crime go down or not when they know you ain't getting out in 3.5 years? You're going to have to do a real 10 years in that.
I mean, I think it depends on the person, you know, because I almost look at it like this. You already know as a black man, you know, just looking at the black side of things for a second. As a black man, you know, if you encounter the police in America, most of the time you're going to face a negative experience. You could lose your life, this, that, and the other. But has that deterred crime at all? No. If anything, it's just made a more bitter atmosphere of the relationship between the two, or where they don't really care even more. So I almost think you can almost put the same principle to jail. Now, like you said, if it's somebody like me, I'm not thinking about committing crimes anyway, and even more so if they do something like that. But somebody on the street or somebody in a more of a desperate situation, I just don't know if they're looking at News Channel 3 and it's like, oh, you see that white man right there? I'm scared of what he, you know. I just don't think so. And, you know, I get why they're doing it. And maybe it'll deter to some degree.
Well,
but the average thug on the street, the average dude is not going to care that much, I don't think, just to be real with you.
Well, just turn over to Fox 13. They hire more black men than any other station.
That's true. Look, but they don't care that either.
Anyway, that's a horse of another color.
But what do you think about it, man? Am I wrong?
Go ahead.
I don't know, but what do y'all think?
I think it will.
Okay.
I go back to the little Rick philosophy. When he saw them whipping, I didn't have no trouble out of him.
That's right.
He understood that wrath was in the house.
Now, okay, go ahead, Apostle. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Now, Apostle Floyd, the same thing happened to Josh. The same thing. He know what I'm talking about.
I figured it, but I didn't want to put him on the spot. I figured it, but I.
The same thing.
Y'all had to bring my experience into
the same thing happened to Josh because Josh remembered when it was a lady told me, she said, "You are like a father to my sons, and I give you permission to spank their behinds or to whip them whenever they get in." She told me, she said, you know, he did something one day and I know he did it. And so she said, put your wrath on him. And Josh was a little boy. And Josh, he peeped out that door and he saw me whipping that other boy.
Yeah, I do remember that. I still remember that.
And he said, "Me don't want.
I don't want. You know what? I have rarely, Apostle Floyd, I have rarely had to in the past when Josh was coming up. I don't even know, you know, the whippings I have given him were few and far between.
I ain't gonna say who it was, but it was a cousin of mine. Yeah. That's why I remember. I still remember. I was
you remember, don't you?
Yeah.
And Josh, when he saw that, he said, he was saying, he told his mama, he told me, he said, I don't want dad to whip me. I want, you know, he did after seeing that, he did not want the wrath of dad on him. You know, but I don't say wrath. I said the blessings of dad.
Blessings.
In a different way.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But I get it. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong, man, but I hope it does at the end of the day. And I think it's all balance, right?
Yeah.
You know, even if they do, you still gotta You got to do what you got to do with them in jail to keep the cycle from continuing once they get out. Because at the end of the day, unless they're serving a life sentence or something, they're going to get out at some point. And if you just got a crazed individual,
if they're serving a life sentence, no more parole, that means they're going to be in for life.
Yeah, you're talking about life, but everybody ain't serving life. People serve 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay, if you don't bend on that sentence, the punishment.
Yeah.
If you don't bend on the punishment, they're gonna think twice before committing that crime. So I'll be in there for life. Hey,
I don't know. Well,
that helps to slow down the crime in these areas that people that want to think about doing it. Yeah,
and I know Apostle gonna have to get off.
I know, Apostle Floyd, we have kept you overtime, and overtime pays a lot more than regular time. So,
man, listen, I got caught up in the carnival type atmosphere, and I was supposed to be at another meeting, man. But I enjoyed it as usual. Y'all don't wait so long, man, to bring me back. I'm gonna behave.
Okay. I'm gonna take it to work. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Apostle,
appreciate you guys. Be blessed, man.
Apostle Ricky Floyd, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, one quick thing.
Yes, sir.
April the 5th, we will be having. Don't cut me off, Bob. We will be having a job fair for felons and expungement for felony records and reinstatement of driver's license at 10 o'clock, Pursuit of God Transformation Center, Frazier.
Okay.
District Attorney Amy Wire will be here, and Maximus will be here, and some companies, one at $18 an hour with no drug testing, and they're hiring felons.
No drug testing.
Nice.
Yeah, I always feel guilty saying that as a preacher.
You know that. I see.
I ain't gonna say one.
See. I'm in. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone.
I'm about to say, don't do it. I already know what you're going to
get him. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm like, no parole. Look, I see in his eyes, no parole. No parole.
Yeah.
All right. Apostle Ricky Floyd, man, we got to get on here and talk about your other program with you helping the young man. We'll get you at a later date and talk about that as well. Great things are happening, and that will help keep people out of trouble. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks
Bless
for joining
you guys.
us.
Keep up the great work, man.
Okay, be blessed.
Thanks, sir.
All right. All right. Apostle Ricky Floyd, Pursuit of God Transformation Center. Go by and check them out and find him out. Look him up. A good man, and that's why I invite him on the show. Everybody have their differences of opinion. That don't mean that you cut each other off on things you disagree on. But and not saying that I disagree with it. It's just that bad that we disagree. Apostle Floyd's a good man, and we respect each other highly, and I respect him much in what he's doing in this city. You need to check him out. All right, Josh, we can open the phone lines now for people that want to call in and give your point of view.
Just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes. You have to get in here quick because we're going to go. What time is it?
It's 1:15.
1:15. We need to get out of here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so if you want to make a phone call real quick and get in here, 901-213-6020. And give us your opinion on, do you think this helps? Do you think this law will help? And what they're talking about. Should they serve the full sentence? If you get sentenced to 10 years in prison, in jail, should they make them serve 10 years in jail? That's the law that they're voting on now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no parole. No parole. No parole. They're not giving any parole. That's what they're voting on right now. Will that help the crime in Shelby County? Will that help the crime in the state of Tennessee? Especially Shelby County, Memphis area. Folks, we're in trouble in this area that needs a lot of things done as far as crime is concerned.
Jed says he's with a bunch of white folk at a trade show. He can't call it.
See there. See. He had to put that on there, didn't he? No, Jet, go on, folks. Go on, man, and be served with our white brethren and sisters. Let's read some of these comments, Josh. 9 out of 10. You all read that.
Yeah, I read most of it, but I'm going to go back to some I didn't.
Phone lines are open real quick and for the next 15 minutes, 901-213-6020 if you'd like to call. And we want to hear your opinion real quick on some of the calls as you come in.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think about this law that they're talking about?
And
no parole.
Yeah, exactly. I read some of these.
Okay, sure.
Let's see. Jet says as you're starting on 9 out of 10 of the uncles, cousins, and daddies will view that as hopelessness. And this during the phone conversation. He said, but not making excuses, but just painting whole pictures. So we're probably anchored during these conversations. Let's see. Greg came in a little later. He says, once a person serves their penance, they should no longer be punished, to include opportunities to become productive citizens. But those folks have to completely understand that it ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah. Jet says crime pays, but not the criminals.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I understand. I think I understand what he means, but what?
Yeah. It's kind of what we were talking about, how much it pays for criminals to go to jail.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Now, matter of fact, he just put his most recent comment. He said, if I ain't back in Memphis by Saturday, come looking for me, because they done got me.
Oh. Will we find anything worthwhile? No, just kidding.
Let's see. He also said during the conversation, Dr. Floyd just gave us the profitability numbers on school versus prison. Excuse me, y'all.
Sure.
He says, so handling it on and from the front end actually does mean slapping the DA, meaning the district attorney, before anything else. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I understand there was a lot of great points on both sides, and that's why I think balance in life is important, period. I think at the end of the day, with this whole thing, one, you go to jail, you need to do the time for what you did. If you did do it and you were convicted, it is what it is. You got to serve time. It needs to be hard time. Doesn't need to be cushy. Doesn't need to be, a vacation, so to speak. And I do think it needs to be enough of what you may want to say education or something. I don't know if you want to say education, but what I'm saying is some type of structure. Let's think about this. In anything you do, if you don't have any type of structure just as a human being, you're just not going to turn out well. And I don't know if you can even say, if you do help people that want to be helped, right? And I think that's even another thing. Those that are in jail, if they want some of those services, then okay. Then you get out and go to college outside of there, but you have people there within the framework of prison, because you're still in prison at the end of the day. I still think it's part of the punishment, but at the same time, those that they feel are more deserving of this, you get that opportunity. Those that are in prison that don't deserve it and don't act like they want it, then they don't get it. And I feel like those that, I don't know, the tough part is, depending on what the crime is and the heinousness of it, you wonder, do those people even deserve any opportunity? Maybe all that should be determined on the sentence, how long they're in there. If they're in there for life, does it even matter at the end of the day? I don't know. So it's a tough balance. So I can understand, because at the end of the day, you still have to take care of people, just like they have to take care of their medical and all that stuff,
right? Because
they're still human beings at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it, man. But I think it's a great conversation to have, and it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to develop. I know Bob's in contact with state representatives down there, including Johnny Shaw, who's been on the show last year. One of the best interviews that Bob did. That was on the Let's Talk About It show.
Yeah.
that we were doing, talking to him about a lot of stuff. So hopefully he'll be on soon. And so we'll see, man. But just to let y'all know, also, got some more guests lined up coming up in the future. Not going to say all of those that are not locked in yet, but I say that to say we are going to have some continuous content coming your way. I know we hadn't been on
coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah,
we're going to have some shows on, and so you want to stay tuned for that. Saturday, we have our special guest is going to be with us from what's the name of that church?
I'm not sure, but I know. I just say we can put it out when you know for sure.
Okay, well, he's already
already
committed. Yeah, he's committed. Pastor, you know my friend. What's his name? Oh God!
Oh, you talking about Fred Tappan?
Fred Tappan. There you go.
You talking about the other guy? Okay.
Yeah, no. Fred Tappan. Fred Tappan will be with us, and we'll be talking about this and some other things we already talked to him about. He'll be joining us on some things to talk about as well.
Plus, I believe he's running.
Yes,
for office.
He is running for the state office, Senate seat. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm curious what his thoughts on this conversation, because he's gonna, if he gets elected, be involved in this whole thing. So,
yes, indeed. So we're going to be having him talking to him Saturday.
He's also the pastor of Eureka True Vine.
Eureka, there you go.
Baptist Church.
Yes,
in the heart of Whitehaven.
Yes, the heart of Whitehaven.
Yes,
indeed.
Literally right in the heart.
Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you. But he's doing great things down there, and he's running for the Senate seat. And coming up the following week, we'll have Bishop William S. Wright.
Okay.
And he is he's the pastor of Liberty Church of God in Christ. And as he always like to say, one church in two locations. And he'll be joining us next week and the next Saturday. That is.
So this Saturday is Fred Tappan. And the following Saturday
is Bishop William Wright.
Yes.
Will be joining us, and we'll be talking about some things concerning that. Some other things going on with the church, things going on in the community, and this and some other things. Maybe that bill will be passed by the time he comes on.
Absolutely. Plus, now I'm gonna throw this out there too. My sports show returns.
Talk Back Sports.
Yes, Friday. It's this Friday and the following Friday. So stay tuned for that. Still working on some things when it comes for these couple of shows. So y'all stay tuned, man. But just letting y'all know some of the upcoming schedule as well. Some Bible teacher coming from Bob soon as well.
Yes.
To the channel. So stay tuned for that on a upcoming Sunday near you. So we'll put all that out when it's confirmed. So.
Breaking Bread Bible teaching is coming up soon. It'll be on Sunday and afternoon probably, and you guys can join us with that as well. All that is coming up on TalkBackLive Network.
Yes, sir.
And several shows that we've got going on, and people, special guests, we're looking forward to having them on.
Absolutely. As you see us cruising through downtown Memphis.
Yeah.
On this video. I don't know if you noticed it's downtown Memphis, but we're rolling through.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
And we may wrap our vehicle with TalkBackLive Network with Bob and Josh.
Hey, you never know.
Never know. One of our vehicles. Anyway. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and all your comments. Oh, wow. Good comments. And all of you that have joined us, thanks for our guest, Apostle Ricky Floyd, Pursuit of God Transformation Center. Get a hold of him, and he's doing great things there, especially having a lot of young men out. And before they get into the system, that's where we need to work on and catch it, folks.
Prevention.
Yes, and don't talk about after they get in prison how bad they've been treated. Let's treat them right before they get there, and don't let them get started. Get them started the right way in the programs that, like Pastor Floyd's got going on, helping young men to stay out of those type of things. All right. And thanks for joining us today on Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. And we'll see you again. Josh will be doing a sports show this Friday. And we'll see you again Saturday with another edition of Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful afternoon.